Hi guys, sorry that I'm crying right now. Um, Usually you guys see me posting really fun dance videos. Today I'm going to do something very different. For some of you guys that know, my grandparents both are Holocaust survivors. My grandma was in Auschwitz, and a dream of theirs always, I think, was for me to go visit. I feel like it's not going to fully hit me until we're there.
Hello, Real Talkers, and welcome. Montana Tucker is an American singer, songwriter, actress, and dancer. Hello, Montana. So excited to have you in Real Talk. Tell us how it all began, your journey spiritually and physically, when you went on a trip to Poland, to Auschwitz. What made you do it and how it all began?
Well, first of all, thank you so much. Second of all, my whole life I went to Hebrew school. I've been Jewish. I grew up in a Jewish family in a Jewish community. My grandparents are Holocaust survivors, and I have always heard their stories growing up. I've also been extremely close to them and felt very connected to them. I feel like in a stronger way than just typical grandchildren and grandparents. And as I got a bit older, I became more interested in their stories. And I had a friend, Israel Schachter, who heard about my grandparents' stories and asked if I've ever been to Poland. And he was like, I said no. And he was like, well, I'm going to bring you, I'm going to make it happen. And so he connected me with Rachel Kastner and Soul Shop Studios, and we just orchestrated this incredible team. And I never in a million years thought I would go there to film a docu-series. I thought I would just go there to honor my family. So the fact that we went there to film a docu-series was so incredible. I'm so grateful that I've built such an amazing platform. People have followed me for my fun dance videos, and the fact that I have been able to release this docu-series on such a serious, important matter, um, when people are used to seeing such fun dance content, I think is so important. And the fact that I am reaching all different generations with this, for people who knew about the Holocaust or people who didn't know about the Holocaust, for people who are unaware what the Holocaust really was, I think just this has been so important.
Did you grow up listening to the stories of your grandparents and what they went through the war? You always knew about it?
Yeah, so growing up, I always heard my grandparents' stories. They also used to always go around to all the schools. I'm from South Florida, and they would always go around to all the schools. But when I was younger, I feel like I didn't really retain the information as much as I did when I got a bit older. And it actually wasn't until I saw my grandparents' testimonies that they did for the Shoah Foundation, about like a year and a half, 2 years ago. I rewatched them, and I just watching them as an adult, you have a whole different perspective on it. And my Zadie passed away 3 years ago at 97. And so I think that's what I think after him passing really made me want to learn more about their history. And then the fact that I do have this platform, I'm like, okay, if I have millions of people that follow me, if I can get millions of people to watch this documentary, this docu-series, how incredible. I mean, I think the Holocaust Museum in the United States only gets about 1 million visitors a year. And already through this docu-series, we have over 4 million views on it. So it's a pretty crazy realization. And I hope that, I learned myself so much on this trip, stuff that I did not know about the Holocaust personally. And I'm continuing to learn more as I post. And even with the recent news of anti-Semitism, I'm learning even more that there's so many types of anti-Semitism that I never even knew existed before this. So it's been a really eye-opening, life-changing experience, not only for me, but the messages I have received from this have just been so powerful and so amazing and life-changing.
How refreshing to see a social media star who uses her powers to educate the younger generation instead of using hate. You did something so powerful. The response to anti-Semitism is to educate, not to hate. Did you do this in response to all the late bursts of anti-Semitism from big celebrities like Kanye West?
So the fact that everything happened with Kanye and Kyrie and just the recent news of anti-Semitism is the craziest possible coincidence. I went like 5, 6 months ago to Poland, and we were in the talks of this trip for over a year. So we always planned to release this docuseries leading up to Kristallnacht. And I just think that how everything happened in the world proves to me even more that I had to do this and why I was meant to do this. And I agree with you saying that the way to respond is not to answer these comments, it's not to attack, it's to educate. And that's exactly why we did this series, because we wanted to educate. I'm not sitting here trying to say everyone should be able to have their own opinion about whatever they want, but I hope that they watch my series and they get educated and their perspective potentially changes from watching.
I love the way you call your grandfather Zadie. Is that how you grew up calling him, Zadie?
Yes, he was always Zadie to me, always, always, always. And him and I just actually this gold chain right here is his. This
No.
bracelet right here is his. I never
Oh
take
my
them off. This ring is
gosh.
his. This is his wedding
Wow.
band. So
Mm.
he's always a part of me and always with me. I literally never take this jewelry off. So it was very, very, very close to my Zadie. My Zadie was a survivor as well, but my grandma was in Auschwitz. My grandma is still alive, but she is suffering Alzheimer's for over 14 years, but she is still alive, and I see her all the time, and I love her so much.
How old is your grandmother?
She is 94, and she looks amazing, and she's happy, but unfortunately, she can't really form sentences anymore, and has to be with help 24/7. But when we're together, I get her up and we dance together, and I kiss her, and we hold hands, and she plays with my hair, and every time I get to be with her, I spend as much time as I can. My mom and I also, my whole life, have been extremely, extremely close. My mom is my manager. My mom is my best friend. And my relationship with my mom was similar to how my mom's relationship is and was with her mom. So going on this trip, I couldn't have done it without, I couldn't have gone without my mom 100%. And going on this trip was really important to be with my mom. There is an episode where we stand in the same spot. My grandma last saw her mom, and saw her mom get beaten and dragged to the gas chamber. So it was a really, really, really hard, probably one of the hardest moments of my entire life to do that with my mom. I know it was even harder on her because of her relationship with her mom. So it was a really, really hard experience, but again, something that I feel like my mom and I needed to do together. I think there's a reason why my mom never went before in her life. There's a reason why I never went before in my life. There's a reason why we did this together at this moment. And we're forever changed from it.
That was exactly my next question. Do you feel change from this trip, like really from the inside?
So I am forever changed from my trip to Poland. There were multiple things that were going on during this trip. We were filming for about a week, and I was all day filming from about 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We have over 100 hours of footage. And, the hardest thing is I'm experiencing something for the first time. It's not like I've been there before, so I kind of know what to expect. I also am used to filming. I film every day, but I film scripted videos. I film movies. I film TV shows. I film my social media videos that I have a script. I know exactly what I'm doing. They're really fun. They're upbeat. So to have just a camera on you, I've never done a form of like reality TV before. So to have this like camera on you at all times while you're experiencing something so heavy and just intense it's pretty crazy to have that happen. And you start to forget the cameras are there, so you're just then experiencing all the emotions you see in this docuseries, like they're real time. We didn't like refilm them. We didn't plan, okay, this is where you're going to do this. It was just literally how I was feeling in the moment. And again, nothing could have prepared me for this trip. I had plenty of friends and family who've been there before that were briefing me on it. I've seen the documentaries, I've seen everything, but nothing can prepare you for that moment when you're physically there. I've said this a few times already, that Poland is like such a beautiful country. And I know was such a beautiful country back then. And that's what made it so hard, that there was so much evil that was going on in this beautiful country. And, even Auschwitz. I mean, I went during the summer, so it wasn't snowing, but it was so beautiful. And I'm just imagining like this place looking like this, but with all the horror that was going on then. And there are homes that are really close by to Auschwitz that were close by at that time. Like, I don't know how people could live with themselves seeing a a gas chamber and going up, I don't know. There were a lot of things that really upset me and confused me and angered me, and you have all these emotions while you're there. And I mean, it puts so much into perspective. Also, the fact that these survivors had the will to live after all of this, and even my grandparents were like the most incredible people in the world. Like, how do you become such an amazing human being after dealing with all that? It just puts a lot into perspective for you.
I saw a piece of your documentary and you really feel the depth of your thoughts. Like you said, you ask yourself questions from different perspectives, like from the Polish people who lived there and didn't see, they didn't know.
I think it's important. I think it's important to acknowledge that back then, that yes, there were a lot of people who did good and that really tried and literally risked their own lives for others. I mean, that's what the righteous among the nations is so important, because I feel like us as Jewish people, like, we want to make sure the world knows, like, we are so thankful for anyone that helps us, and I think that's what's so important now in the world, that just because you aren't Jewish doesn't mean you shouldn't speak up. That's why social media is so important, and why words are so important, what people say and do, because especially with the younger generation, I feel like they believe whatever they see online. And so if their favorite celebrity or if their favorite athlete is saying something, they're going to believe it, which is why what Kanye and Kyrie said were so important. And why what they said is so unacceptable.
Damaging.
What they said, really, especially with the younger generation, these kids look up to them and idolize them. And most of them don't even learn about the Holocaust or know about the Holocaust. So they don't know any better. And they don't know about how anti-Semitism is unacceptable. So they just hear their favorite, celebrities saying this, and then they're going to believe it. So I think that, through this docuseries, the reaction has been 90% incredible. And the message I've received that from the Jewish community being just so grateful that something like this happened, but also non-Jewish people saying, thank you for educating me. I really did not know this. I thank you for showing me a whole new perspective that I never knew. And then, there are that 10% of, I left a comment on Kyrie's page, saying how his apology is important, and kind of just saying what I just said about how, words are important. It starts with words, and, I hope he can watch my docuseries to educate him a bit more about why this is like unacceptable. And the hate I received from that comment was insane. I've never actually online seen such evil comments ever. And I've seen some pretty crazy stuff online. They're really, really, really scary and really bad. The comments that people commented on my comment on Kyrie's page, about 500 to 600 comments just attacking me, and it's really terrible.
I hope it doesn't scare you or put you off.
You know what? I actually just had to stop reading them because they were just so evil. And what's sad to me, it's a whole different form of anti-Semitism that I never knew growing up. I knew about a few different forms of anti-Semitism, but I never knew this separation and anti-Semitism between the Blacks and Jews. I never
Right.
knew that. So
Right.
that's something that I'm really learning about now, because I genuinely never knew it. And I personally have always felt like the Blacks and Jews are like one, like we're together. We are a minority, and we've both gone through some really, really terrible things in our history that should never be forgotten. And I thought that kind of bonded us in a way that I never knew this separation and knew this hatred. So this is really sad to me, and I'm hoping that we can fix it.
Were you ever a target of anti-Semitism as you were growing up before doing this documentary?
You know what? As I was growing up, I grew up in Boca Raton, Florida, which is like predominantly Jewish. So I can't say that I had. I also, something that, like, as through my career, as I've grown up, comments that have kind of upset me. My name is Montana Tucker. That's my birth name. People always say to me, that's not a Jewish name. You're not Jewish. No way. That's not a Jewish name. Or they see how I look and they're like, you look like that? There's no way you're Jewish. And I get so offended by that. I think that's so, first of all, I think even if it's somebody that's Jewish that is saying that to me, I think that's offensive. Like, what does it mean to look Jewish? What does it mean to have your name sound Jewish? And so those are comments that I've received a lot throughout my life that actually I find very offensive.
Montana, you are so refreshing and inspiring. You have almost 8 million followers on social media. It's like the whole of Israel following you. Were you scared of losing a contract or deals because of this documentary?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely very scared for many reasons. One, it's like a full takeover of my Instagram. I've never done anything like this before, of over 10 days not posting any other content besides um these docu-series, and because it's a very different form of content, how the algorithms work and everything, I was like, oh no, this is gonna could potentially ruin my social media career. I've had to say no to a lot of different brand deals because they wanted me to post during this time. And I said, I'm not posting anything else. This is solely dedicating to this project. Um, and I also knew that I had, my following isn't necessarily predominantly Jewish. And I have a lot of followers from all over the world, all over the Middle East, all over every country. So, and again, because I'm not always posting about being Jewish and always posting about my grandparents, this was going to be a shock to a lot of people. So a lot of different thoughts went through my mind. In the past, I have posted things of my grandparents before, and I've had thousands of people unfollow me. I've had people say the Holocaust doesn't exist, never existed. Of course, like, you Jews always want to make it about yourself. So I've had those terrible comments in the past, and that's just from me posting like a lighthearted picture of my grandparents. So I kind of prepared myself for all kinds of things. And I honestly just never expected all the good. Like, there has been so much good that has come from this docuseries that I could have never imagined. And I'm just so grateful for it. We've had some incredible people that I don't even have like a direct personal relationship with share these series. We've had Jessica Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld's wife, post about it a lot. Emmanuel Stricke, the actress, Mark Cuban has posted a lot. Scooter Braun. So all these really like powerful people have posted, and a lot of really big influencers as well. And I'm just so grateful for their support on it and for sharing it out to also their followers who might not be predominantly Jewish either, or that are Jewish. And again, the messages that I've received saying, people lost all hope and all faith and wanted to hide from their religion are now so proud to be Jewish, and thank you. And so that's been amazing to me.
Montana, I hope you get to go to your grandmother, and though she might not recognize you, you should whisper in her ear what you have done and how proud she should be of you. Have you been to Israel?
I went to Israel on birthright, like 7 years ago or so. Was it 7? Oh, yeah, about 7, 8 years ago. So I am dying to get back. Now this is making me more than ever need to get back. So I'm hoping in 2023 I get to come to Israel.
Hope you make it here back soon, and you're welcome to come to our studio. Do you think all this brought you closer to God?
I haven't necessarily thought about it like that. But what I do know is that, and I keep referring to these messages and these comments that I'm getting from people, the fact that I'm changing somebody else's life and somebody else's perspective, I think is huge for me, and is that might be bringing me closer. Yes, because the fact that these thousands and millions of people are viewing this, and the messages I have received are just so powerful and make me cry almost every message. I think that's probably bringing me closer.
Thank you, Montana. Keep up your amazing work and send a message to our viewers of Arutz Sheva.
Hi, Arutz Sheva. Thank you guys for watching. I love you.
Thank you, Montana, and don't give in to haters. You're great.
Thank you so much. You're amazing, and I hope to meet you in person soon.
Thank you so much, Real Talkers. Hope you enjoyed it.